In 17th century, the French philosopher Voltaire said, the common sense is not so common. And imagine, moving forward and coming to this century, we can see it is still very true. For some people, actually common sense seems like a punishment rather than a gift, because those who have it have to deal with those people who don't understand common sense or don't want to apply it in their life. But whether we like it or not, we live in a society. We need to look at things and have a judgment, even though we've been told, and it is wise not to have a very quick judgment on things. But still, this is our perception. The perception is the way that we see the world. And based on that, we judge things and we make a decision. Welcome to our show, our Wealth TV. Today, we're going to talk about common sense and how this is related to our wealth creation. Hi, my name is Helia Singh, and welcome to my show, Wealth Coaching with Helia Singh, the fastest way to build wealth. So far in our show, we've been talking about mindset, and also then we talked about the value of education, marketing yourself and your business, the value of following your passion. So we looked at all these topics in the context of wealth creation. But without having common sense, we can go over the board with each topic. Because obviously there is a limit to that mindset, or we cannot be so rigid that, okay, this is my mindset and that's what it is. There is always some gray area, which is thankfully to common sense, we can understand it, get over with it, and then make a proper decision in our life. If you have ever been disappointed in any situation or life, whether it was a financial decision or relationship, when you look back, you would see that most of that problem was because of your expectation. Because at the end of the day, what outcome you wanted to have was very different to the reality. And this is how you were disappointed and you had that heartache. But if you apply common sense to the same situation, imagine you look at it as like a bird's eye view to that problem, you'll see that, okay, in a different light, well, this is what is supposed to happen. So then what's the point of, having that grief over something that happened, or because of the way you thought it should have happened? You see, that's why having common sense is actually a wisdom and a skill that we all can learn and apply it in our life. So don't worry about those who don't want to apply it or don't want to even know about it, because the more you apply it, the more life gets easier for you, and then you can make financial decision, life decision for yourself and be happy. Isn't it the whole point of our life, that at the end of the day, if we want to be financially free, or you want to have enough money, or any relationship, you just want to be at peace. And I learned along the life that yes, common sense is one of the main things that will help us to really get there easily. So let's develop a new habit of having common sense. So imagine whatever you hear in life, so just tell yourself, does it make sense? Especially whenever something comes to you or you hear it and you say that, oh, that's too good to be true. Definitely you need to apply common sense. So that's why if you anchor this new habit to your normal way of thinking in life, that will help you to understand and really layer this situation to see if it's really true, or how does it make sense. I'm going to look at obviously the wealth creation side, because this matter, this common sense, that by itself, to me, it can be written books on every area of life about common sense. But looking at the finance and wealth creation, the first topic I want to talk to you about is financial freedom concept. I'm sure you all heard about this concept. Some of you may think this is just a myth, it doesn't exist. Doesn't matter what you believe in there. So just think about it. What does it mean to you, even if it means nothing to you? So still you need to write it down and see what is your opinion on this, and then find out where those opinions come from. For example, let's say if you say financial freedom to you means that, okay, having $10 million, so, and I don't know how you got that number, that's fine. Or you may say financial freedom to me means that I need to have my own house at the beach, have a couple of luxury cars, and have enough money in the bank so then I don't have to work ever again. So it's all beautiful wishful dreams, but again, let's move forward. I'm not going to discuss why you are thinking this way, but whatever you think, do you want to apply common sense there? Say that, does it make sense why I've got this number, or why I have this definition for financial freedom? When you look at it, and then you will see that, okay, where that come from, that idea of definition of financial freedom, where does it come from? Is it coming from your family, friends, society, news? Wherever it's come from, you need to see whether it was true or not, or is it achievable? If that is achievable, you need to find out who has ever done it before, or who are the people, which obviously there are many people who have done this. Just find out who's done it and then apply it. See that, okay, how come this person got to where they wanted to get, that I want to get there? So let's follow them, let's copy them, obviously without having that problem of copywriting, because at the end of the day, we may copy someone's view or someone's process of doing things, but we cannot copy the authenticity of that person. So don't worry about that. Obviously, it's always great, whatever you do, even if you use advice from someone else, always give credit to them. This is what the moral person will do. But at the same time, just think about it, where that idea come from. And of course, pick any other subject that you want when it comes to the finance, and see whether this is true or not in terms of common sense. I've got a few topics in there, and if you like, you can make a notes for yourself so you can refer to it later to see if this is true or not. And I really challenge you to do this exercise for yourself. So what does it mean to you, this common sense? Most people think, once I have money, then I'll do the things that I want to do, then I will be happy. And this cycle, we call it have, do, and then be. And this is like a rat race, because it never ends, because we always wanted to have something more to make us able to do something in order to get somewhere. But if we look at it the other way around, that no, we need to do something ourselves, to be that person, and then do things, and then eventually we'll have it, it will be much easier. I'll put it to perspective with this example. I don't know how old you are or what is your experience in life. You may have this dream many years ago that, okay, one day when I have $10,000, I'm going to buy the car I want to buy, and then I will be happy and popular or whatever. And I'm sure you eventually had that $10,000, bought the car, and then you were happy, but that happiness was actually very, very shortly. Why? Because you were on the cycle of have, do, and then be. That is something we can never reach, because every time you reach something like that, because you associated your happiness or your freedom to something outside you, something that can easily be upgraded. So that's why you wonder why I don't have that satisfaction in life. So this is the common sense approach, that when you look at things, don't say that, okay, if I have this, then I will do this, then I'll become this. It may sound a bit silly when I say to you that I spoke to a teenager recently and he was saying that once I grow up, then I know what I love to do in life, then I'll go back to school and study. I'm sure as an adult you can appreciate this, that how this topic even sounds silly, but to that teenager it looked so logical. That's why most of the things, even for us adults, we say to ourselves, when we look back later, we just say, oh, how on earth I came up with that logic. So this is how it is, that we need to look at everything with the common sense approach. Does it make any sense to do this? Another thing is, let's say, look at the economy. Many people think that, okay, to have a good view on economy, you need to have either an MBA or have some degree to be able to have some opinion. I've got a secret for you. Even the economists, they get it wrong. So don't worry. You don't have to be that way educated to be able to have a common sense when it comes to economy. So this is what I actually tell my clients, that, okay, let's look at economy as a one-to-one economy. So in a very, very basic language. Because remember, Einstein said, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, that means you never understood it. So next time when you meet any professional and they're trying to use old jargons and you don't understand, most probably they don't understand it themselves, or at least they don't know how to communicate it with others. So try to understand it for yourself. Try to break it down. So even ask them, because sometimes the other person, they think that, okay, this is very obvious, everybody is supposed to know. And I'm guilty of that as well, because some stuff, it just seems so easy and so common sense that you just think, how can somebody even ask that question? But, well, it seems that still some people do ask that question. So make it easier for yourself and the other person by asking questions to really unlayer that topic. There is no point for you when you sit with a professional person, when they say something to you and you just nod your head, yes, yes, but in the background is completely no, and you have no idea what's going on. We've all been there, we know what it is. But the more question you ask, the more you try to get to the bottom of it and apply common sense, you will make yourself a favor and the other person. Because at the end of the day, whatever decision you make will be an informed decision. Going back to that economy topic, let's say if there are so many people who think that, okay, the property price, what's happening with that? We know in general the property prices are going up anywhere in the world. If you look at all the data from 100 years ago, if you look at any countries, this is by no fault you can see that chart, that is the prices are going up. Of course, there are some hiccups, it may be a bit smooth or just a bit slightly down, but in general it's going to go up, or it's going up. But why is that? These are a few factors with the economy, so which is very basic and common sense. The population is growing. People need to live somewhere. These are the basic human needs. From the cavemen, where we used to be cavemen as human, we all needed shelter and food. These are the main things for a human to live. So that's why, even for a caveman, a nice cave, safe cave next to a properly a good jungle with lots of fruit and animals would have been a luxury in that time. But even looking at these days, now living next to a city, next to amenities, having a nice property, so this is still human are looking for that, and that's where the population actually starts and increase from there. It's just like a ripple effect. They start from one corner, one side, and then it goes in a circle move around it. So that's why in general they say if you look at the capital city, stay within 5 kilometer radius of that, because that's where people like to live. And the further you go out, the value of property can go a bit lower, or at the same time, of course, you can have a bigger land. So these are a very, very small and basic information about how to apply common sense in economy or when you are purchasing a property. For the last few years, people who have bought properties in eastern state in Australia, for example, they made very good money. So the market was more like a bull market, or a very flourish market. But unfortunately, I truly believe the bull economy is very, very dangerous. Why? Because as we know, when the tides goes up, everything goes up with it. So any property from anywhere, it went up along the side. But unfortunately, for most people, even though they felt lucky, their property price went up, but purely they were lucky. But they think that, okay, I got it, I know how to invest. And next time they'll go buy and invest somewhere, and then they will really crash because they didn't apply the common sense there. They just thought, okay, the last time I did it, I got lucky, maybe that's my role, this is how I should do it. You see? And once that person invests again and lose money, he thinks that, okay, the whole concept of, let's say, property as an asset is not good. But because they then apply common sense in there. Recently, I had a client, and he was just talking about he was actually very negative about economy in general, and just saying the whole world economy is on the verge of recession, and he was feeling anxiety, and the property prices are just going up, even though despite of that, all these indicators in interest rate and the whole market. But that's why he thought, well, I don't know who to listen and what to do. I've been told for the last 10 years it's always the bubble, the property price is just a bubble, but it just seems this bubble is just growing more and more, and there are so many people who made lots of money out of it, but I'm still in the same place. So he was quite indecisive in purchasing a property or making decision for his finance. So I took him through this exercise that I want to take you through. So perhaps that will help you to understand. So if you know anyone who's got the same view, perhaps you'd like to share this video with them and tag them along. So I told them that, look, just write down what things that you wanted to get from this concept. So if you think the property prices are going up, which is fine, but try to do, when you do your own research, every time look at the opposite side at the same time. And I call this technique a conflict questionnaire technique, meaning when you go to Google, let's say you type there, is property prices going down? You will see pages and pages of articles and it is that, yes, it supports that. And of course, somebody can say that, see, even in Google it says the same thing. But at the same time, type in there, is property prices are going up? You will see again pages and pages articles that, yes, it supports that idea. But you see, the problem is this: when people are looking for something, they just stick with the same mindset and look for that. And of course, what we see, what we are looking for, we will see the same thing that we are looking for. We can't see something else. This is how our brain works. So, but if you look at the opposite every time, whatever you hear, look at the opposite of it. That will help you to have at least a better judgment, to put them together next to each other, side by side, and then compare. Another way to look at this is this, that, or how to twist this question. For example, just write down this question and say that, okay, I love to do this, whatever it is, but what is on the way? If you use this technique, Now let's fill up the gap with something that, okay, it could relate to many people, because again, I had a young 27-year-old girl who is an executive in marketing, and actually her father asked me to speak to her, and it's just because she doesn't want to buy property. And when I spoke to her, she said, well, I'd love to have my own place, why not? Everybody would love to have it, but I'm afraid if I buy a property, I cannot travel again, because I will be stuck to paying the mortgage, and then I won't be easily just say, well, I don't want to have this job and go for a traveling. So what we did is say that, okay, just twist this question. Twist it in a way to say, I love to buy my property. I want to buy a property. How could I buy the property that I love and travel at the same time? You see, when we ask the question this way, we give our brain the opportunity to come up with the answers, with the ways to do it. That's why asking the how question is very, very important, and it's very empowering, rather than asking what question or why question. So always ask how. I know in reality in life we can't have everything at the same time, like having our cake and eating it, so this is true, but at the same time you can ask many questions like this. I want to have this, okay? So even if you have that in the background of your mind, in your subconscious, you will come with a but in there that, okay, but I don't know how to do it, or I'm not comfortable, or I'm fearful of whatever is going to happen. Twist it in a way that, how can I have this and this at the same time? So then put that in Google, if Google is your first place to go for the research. Please don't get me wrong, I love Google too. Everybody obviously does research these days in the Google, but all I'm saying is don't rely only in one source of research. So even when you to Google, go to the other pages, because obviously in the first few pages there will be pages where people who are paid for the advertising there. So, but if you go to other pages, so maybe the other person not be that as popular or as wealthy, or be ready to pay as much money for the marketing, but they have something valuable to share and say about it. So keep this in mind. Always ask the how question and twist it, and look at the opposite side. Looking back at the same topic that we were talking about in economy in general, and also property, because property is a big factor in the economy of anywhere in the world. Let's look at this. And because the other day somebody asked me, actually it was in a forum online, somebody asked that people are saying the property prices are going up, but I don't see that. It's actually they're going down. And my answer to him was this, that look, property is very similar to shares, so it's just an asset class. When you say that, okay, the property price is going down, maybe the property in your area or the one that you bought went down. Doesn't mean that, okay, every property is in the same boat. It's the same way. We know some shares are doing very bad, very, very bad, and there are some shares are doing well. So the property is very similar in that way if you look at it as an asset class. So that's why if you develop enough understanding or basic understanding of macroeconomy and microeconomy, you look at to say that, okay, in your country that you live in, so how it is the, let's say, property market, and then look at your state level. For example, in Australia, because we have a very vast country, so eastern state is as if like we are talking about in a different country comparing to the western states. So you need to look at to see what are those numbers. But unfortunately, when economists give their numbers out or do their research, they look at it as a national level. So that's why a common person without common sense think that, okay, this is just means for everyone and everything. That's why you need to bring it down and narrow it down to your own local city, suburb, and then street. And look at it to see, is the price is really valuable, or is it, does it really apply to me as well? So many people I've heard that they're just going to go and sell their property just because they've heard the property prices are going down. This is, it seems very, very rational decision, because without knowing that exactly what's going to happen, just putting an asset for sale just because you heard something without your own research, to me that's a very, of course, unwise decision. And of course, at the end of the day, everybody's situation is different. So another problem with wealth creation and lack of common sense we see is that people look at wealth creation and they say that, okay, either they look with the greed and also lack of patience. With the greed is that because they just want to make more money quick and more. That's all they care about. At the same time, they don't have enough patience to that they have to sit and wait, because some things it's just going to take time to grow. Even if money was growing on the trees, we all know for a tree to give fruit or flower, it's going to take time. So you cannot expect as soon as you make a deal, you make some money. Of course, and a smart investor will do a deal and negotiate in a way and do their own research in a way that when they buy a property, immediately actually they made money already. So that's completely, of course, it's outside the scope of this Wealth TV, so because that's going to become too technical. So for that, definitely we can have a conversation, and you can let me know. But for here, so everything is possible. It's just about giving yourself permission to learn and apply common sense for your wealth creation. So now we've covered common sense for wealth creation. As I mentioned before, common sense, we can apply it in every area in our life, whether it's in a relationship with your partner, with your kids, neighbors, even economy, and also politician, or whoever you want to deal with. If you apply a bit of common sense, you will feel more comfortable, because then you know that, okay, this is not everything supposed to happen the way you expect it to be. Just remember, apply that every time in every conversation. So I will give you a few hints on different areas. So I'd love to hear from you to see what you think, because at the end of the day, this workshop and all this Wealth TV is for you. We want to see what is the impact has been for you so far and how you apply it for your life, and love to hear your success stories. Because your success means that I've been successful in delivering my message, and yeah, we all have created a community that we all are helping each other. If you want to write it down, so let's say, okay, ask this question: should I invest, or should I buy something, or should I save? So this is a question, I think it's $1 million question everybody asks these days. So again, apply some common sense to see if that is really suitable to your situation. Don't think that because somebody says that, okay, yes, that's how it should be, this is it should be. There is no wrong or right answer. Sometimes you need to look at it to see if it's suitable for you to do it. And you won't be able to create those judgment and skills by yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't been asking this question. So there are ways, there are help outside. So for example, our couple of courses that we have for free in our website, these are very good steps for you to start your financial freedom journey and how to do your financial goal setting step by step, one to one, and then find out if that's really something you want to do it. Another question you can write it down for yourself to see is, should I pay off my debt or save for retirement? Again, That's something that people ask me a lot. It depends. So if you wanted a yes, you do pay first or save for retirement first, that means a person hasn't got it yet. So again, apply common sense. And of course, how to save money when there is no money to save, which is the topic of one of my books. So yes, of course, it's only by applying common sense you will know how to do it. Just remember, if you are not sure about something, always twist the question and bring how. Because this way you will empower yourself. You will just help your brain to come up with the ideas, or at least ideas of who to ask. Maybe you know someone who could help you. So, and again, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. So just look at it and just apply a bit of common sense for your life. Thank you very much for being with us. We love to hear from you. Please love and share this video with your friends and put your comments. We love to hear from you again. And until next time, have a happy, healthy, wealthy life. Hi, my name is Helia Singh, and welcome to my show, Wealth Coaching with Helia Singh, the fastest way to build wealth.